Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vaivasvataya Mrityave
Vaivasvataya Mrityave
Brahma Vidyacharyaya
Brahma Vidyacharyaya
Nachiketase cha.
Nachiketase cha.
So now we'll chant the mantra. Book is not there. One more I had, but I didn't bring it. The big blue one. Who wrote that?
It's one of the Swami who did the Mundaka. She did it from Swami Paramahananda's classes, I believe.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a Swami?
She is a Swami. I think so. I think that's the one. I could be wrong, Swami Vijay.
Urdhvamulaha
Urdhvamulaha
Avakshakaha
Avakshakaha
Eshaha Ashvatthaha Sanatanaha
Eshaha Ashvatthaha Sanatanaha
Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma
Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma
Tadeva Amritam Uchyate
Tadeva Amritam Uchyate
Tasmin Loka Shritas Sarve
Tasmin Loka Shritas Sarve
Tadunatyeti Kaschana
Tadunatyeti Kaschana
Etad Vaitat
Etad Vaitat.
Okay, volume is not on. Let's see, what do I do? Got it. Yes, now it is on. Now it is on. Oh, this volume, okay. Are you able to hear? Is everybody able to hear? Are you able to hear? Going?
Obviously not.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. I'm able to hear too. Okay. So, this is a new section, Actually, it's the chapters are a later interpolation. Adhyaya 1 and Adhyaya means chapter. Adhyaya 1 and 2 come later. That was later. In the beginning, it was just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These three vallis. Vallis means subsections. So, just like, just like somebody thought it was 3, 3, 1, Adi Shankara thinks it is 6. Yeah. So he says the 6th chapter or the 6th subsection is going to be started now. Yeah. Why? Because the whole chapter thing, the chapter is a modern invention. Yeah. Why you are sitting so far? Why you are making me look all over the place? Come closer, bring the chair. Yeah. So that's an interpolation, later on. Even Bhagavad Gita, it was not all chaptered, After that, these things, because later on, as the human capacity for retention got less and less, and everybody got chaptered up. Just like you get lawyered up, like this, you got chaptered up. Yeah. So Adi Shankara thinks this is the 6th chapter. according to him. Okay? So we are in good company if we don't know where we are. So he says something wonderful. He says that the 6th chapter is of great import because if we want to know something, if we want to know something that is not available for what? Huh? Yeah, available as an object, available for objectification. You cannot grasp it, you cannot look at it. It's not like a pot. Which pot?
The clay pot.
Yeah, a little finger pot, right? This pot. And so this is very much available for objectification. In fact, there's one that fits every finger. Yeah, so this is the latest show and tell. Yeah, I think it has to be, because it won't fit any other finger. This is how it has to be. Correct? So these are very much objectifiable, Granted, the 6th one is not there, but the 6th one is not necessary. Because this is completely objectifiable and I can see all of them as an object and I can comment on them. This one has one handle, this one has 2 handles, this one has no handle, this one has a little design on one side, that one has a design on 2 sides. All these things I can say. But here, when something is to be known, what's that something? Brahman. Okay, now the answer for every question in this class will be what? Brahman. So, when something called Brahman is to be known, but it is not available for any means of knowledge, and yes, we know that we need a Vedanta Pramana, we need it badly, we need it yesterday, we need it just now, we know that. But, even though we know that, there is always in the mind of the Vedantin, the budding Vedantin, the feeling that I'm kind of shamming it. I mean, I'm not. I don't really know. I must be making stuff up. I think I know, but I don't really know. I'm not able to grasp this somehow. I'm just going along. Yes, Vedanta is a pramana. Okay, check. And yes, the words of the Shastra, Guru Mukhat, through the, words of the teacher and the words of the Shastra, coming out of the mouth of the teacher, reaching my ears. And provided there is some cleaning that has happened, figuratively speaking, they actually go in, don't boomerang back to the teacher. And when they go in the form of a destructible vritti. Vritti means a kind of a malleable, momentary thought form, a mental frame. So it goes in the form of a destructible thought, because a thought is always destructible. You can never sit with a thought. Thank God. Really. Already we have so many regrets. And imagine if you can't get rid of thoughts. It's just a miserable life. So, what to do now? What to do is to see this thing. And this is why the study of Vedanta, you always feel like I kind of know, but I don't really know. And do I really know this? I'm not able to put my finger on it. And because this vritti is destroyed, then the knowledge is also destroyed, because it's a knowledge carrying vritti which has flitted into my mind. And like a butterfly it sat, and like a butterfly it went away. Destroyed. So the knowledge that it carried on its back, this messenger vritti, I wasn't planning to talk about this, but anyhow, so this is where it's going, let it go. So this messenger vritti goes flit, 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 and sits inside the buddhi. Well, let us say it's a good adhikari buddhi, right? Adhikari means what? A qualified buddhi with all the shama, dhamma, shama this side, dhamma that side, uparati in the back, titiksha all over. This is the buddhi, correct? So this goes in the, and says, I like those messenger pigeons, So it has gone and it has brought the message. What is the message? Yeah, no, this is Kathopanishad. Etad vai tat. That's the message. That, that which you wish to know is indeed this, that is all that is here, is not separate from that, that is this. Or Tattvamasi, or Aham Brahmasmi, any of the Mahavakya. So it carries the Mahavakya on a small little scroll and this little thought form and flies into the heart. Into the buddhi, the figurative heart, and then you open and read the message. By the time the message is, goes up in flames, self-destructs. And then so you have this feeling that I really don't know what is missing in this scenario. What is missing in this scenario is the fact that I have forgotten that the self is self-evident. Yeah, because Buddhu, if the self is self-evident, Buddhu means, one without buddhi. That's all. So, if the self is self-evident, then the problem is not knowing the, self as it is. That is already there. I do know the self. And the problem is attaching or identifying with all the mistakes connected to the I because of that self-ignorance. So the vritti comes and removes the self-ignorance so that the consequent disruptions, the consequent problems with regard to the understanding are also removed. So the wrong identification is totally uprooted. So therefore the vritti doesn't have to sit around. It shouldn't, in fact. Yeah. Because the self is already self-revealing. Correct? So, but even though this is all explained in every class, including this one, and see, that's why I had to say this. So, in every class, including this one, it is already nicely explained. There is still this feeling that this is far away from me. This Brahman, I kind of know, I kind of don't know. Yes, this is Brahman, but somehow I need something graspable. Just like the Jagat is graspable. Can I get to Brahman via the Jagat? Question mark. And what is the answer? No? No? Yes? No?
Brahman. The Jagat is Brahman.
Yeah, so can I get to Brahman?
It can be an entry point.
Via the Jagat. So some people are saying yes, some people are saying no, some people are changing their minds. So the thing is this, that Jagat is, as you said clearly, Jagat is non-separate from Brahman. There is no separation, correct? Yeah. So since it is non-separate, what is the Jagat in relation to Brahman? It is non-separate, but what is the relationship of Jagat to Brahman? Are they friends?
Dependent.
Dependent, mithya. So but what kind of dependence? And in relation to the Jagat, what is Brahman?
Sattva.
Don't go there, that we have already covered. Yes, I agree with you, it's dependent and independent, fine. But what is the connection? Vis-a-vis the Jagat, what is Brahman in connection to the Jagat? Cause. Jagat is because, Brahman is cause. So there is an as though. This is the dependency problem. It is dependent, but that dependency is also as though, because really speaking, there is no Jagat. What? That's true. There is no Jagat. Other than Brahman, there is no Jagat. And so, this dependent relationship between Brahman and Jagat enjoys two kinds of statuses. One is, it is an as though status, just like the dream is dependent upon who? The dreamer, right? And then the second thing with this is that it is a cause-effect relationship, because the source of the Jagat is always Brahman. Anything you see ends up in Brahman. What is tree? Where did the tree come from?
Seed.
Seed. Seed came from what? Another tree. And then another seed. And then another tree. Another seed, another tree, another seed, another tree, another seed, another tree, another seed, another tree. Will be here forever. You know? So, this is something to be properly understood. And so the Upanishad, in all her clarity and her compassion, what does she say? So be it. All right, all right, all right. Because that Natatra Suryo Bhati, it ended with. The Arati mantra that we chant all the time. Natatra Suryo Bhati na Chandra Katarkam. There the sun doesn't shine, neither does the moon. And then what? Nema Vidyuto Bhanti Kutoyam Agnihi. Not even the lightning shines, what to talk of the fire. And then what? Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Only when that one shines, all other things anushine. Anushine means shine after. Yeah, anushine. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. And the light of that shine lights up everything else in this universe. We saw that, correct? Yeah. That's where the vagueness came back in, you know, because it's like, what light, you know, how can I shine and everything Anu shines, you know there has to be some explanation here. How do I understand this? And so therefore the Upanishad, in all her clarity and compassion, gives a wonderful metaphor which has an abiding presence in all the works of Vedanta. You know, we copy copiously from the Upanishad. Where else can we plagiarize from? And Upanishad does not put a lawsuit because that one knowledge can be stated and restated in thousands of ways and still be ever fresh, ever new, and ever true. This is what the whole thing is. And so now there is a particular kind of a imagery. And what is this imagery? I mean, Kathopanishad is full of imageries, which is what makes it so rich. We saw the, chariot imagery. We saw so many other kinds of images. And now this one is the tree of samsara imagery. And the tree is, you know, is made to exemplify samsara. Yeah. That's what the tree is. And Adi Shankara goes on what is called, you know, he goes wild with this imagination, and he writes a very poetic bhashya, a very long and poetic bhashya. And I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago I had said that when we come to this portion, we will study the bhashya a little bit, you know, here and there, because it is so beautiful and it's just very, very lovely. Okay? So introducing this section, he says, Tula avadharanene naiva Mula avadharanam sambhavaha. So meaning that in order to understand the cause, we can take apart the effect. This as though cause and effect, this as though causal relationship between Brahman and the Jagat, where the Brahman is the causeless cause and the Jagat is a mere effect that is dependent upon Brahman, a mere projection which is an effect. Correct? And so, Brahman I cannot analyze. You know, what do you look like? What will you have to eat? You know, I cannot do a post-mortem on Brahman because Brahman is not dead. It's me. And also post-mortem means it has to have body parts to cut open and look and say this is, you know, weigh the lungs and the heart and put them in, formaldehyde, all these things. So it has no parts to take apart. But the Jagat can be taken apart. In fact, it needs to be taken apart. Because if it is not taken apart, then I will fall apart. Yeah. This is what will happen. I will fall apart if this is not taken apart, because it is incumbent upon me to take this apart, and through inquiry cognitively I have to take apart the Jagat in order to understand its source and in order to understand the Nissaratvam. Nissara means essencelessness of this whole, you know, this drama queen called the Jagat. Which poses itself, which masquerades as real, especially around this Halloween time, but hauntingly real. It scares you, but it is not real. This is what the whole thing is, And it doesn't say trick or treat. It says trick or trick. Yeah. Second trick is in the second life, next life, yeah. Repeated tricks. This trickery and this mockery, so one way of really understanding that, so this whole tree imagery serves many purposes. First is it gives us a perfect understanding of how useless this Jagat is, and how painful and how full of strife and full of conflict it is. And how unreal it is, because if it is full of conflict and pain, then of course, the social service inner self comes out and wants to fix everything and wants to reach out and help, but then it is futile because it is not ultimately real. All the things that one cries about, they are not ultimately real. They have a relative, empirical, vyavaharika satta, an empirical reality there, but that's about it. Just like in the dream, everything looks real, but when you wake up, you are no longer kicking and screaming because you are kicking in the dream. So, like that, here, analyzing the Jagat for what it is not gives us an understanding of mithya. And can we use the root? This is what I asked earlier. This was the purport of the question. Can we get to Brahman via the Jagat? Can we get to Satyam via Mithya? The answer is absolutely yes. Because wherever there is Mithya, there is Satyam. Wherever there is pot, Mithya, there is clay. But you can't say it the other way around. You cannot say wherever there is yatra yatra Satyam, tatra tatra Mithya. You cannot say that. Because wherever there is Satyam, there need not be Mithya. Mithya comes, Mithya goes. But there is no Mithya without Satyam. So when I take apart Mithya, what remains is Satyam. What remains? I remain. That's what it is. That's what I remain. The one who takes apart remains. The agent of the one who is doing the taking apart alone remains. So very beautiful but brief introduction he gives, and he is brief because he knows he is going to write a lot to talk about the verse itself. So what does he say? He says, Stula avadharane naiva moola avadharanam vrikshasya kriyate loke yatha. So just as in the world, in the worldly affairs, in the worldly day-to-day affairs, if I want to understand something, I go to the source. I'm not interested in dealing with the effect. So if I want to understand where curds, what do they call it, yogurt, came from, it's no use keeping on, analyzing the yogurt. I have to go to the source. What is the source? I have to see milk. And also that is also not enough. Then I have to go to cow, right? And then cow goes to the mother cow and all these things. So like this, I keep going to the source to understand the effect. I keep going to the cause. And it's an established form of analysis to go to the source, to analyze the cause in order to understand the effect. This is a well-known pedagogical tool that we operate in the world, and therefore Adi Shankara says the Upanishad is helping us. So because we are still worldly people and we are still in the world, and we are trying to understand so many things. So we are being helped here. And how are we being helped? Evam samsara karya vriksha avadharanena tanmulasya brahmanaha swarupavat didharishaya iyam Shashti Valli Arabhyate. So with a desire to what? Ascertain the nature of Brahman, the whole samsara is taken apart with the help of the imagery of the tree, so that we can go to the root of the samsara. And so because the tree has a root, and the root is the truth of the tree, and so too the root of this jagat is Brahman. And in order to avadharanam kartum ichchaya. And so that is the understanding of how to with the desire to understand the truth. This 6th chapter is now begun. He says urdhva moolam ityadi. And so let us understand the meanings of the words here. So very brief, one sentence thing, but a very profound and very appropriate introduction as usual. So then he says, let us understand, before we see what he says, let us understand the verse. Urdhva moolaha avak shakha. Shakha means branches. Shakha. Moolam, root. Urdhva means up. This is the famous imagery of the upside down tree. We have also encountered it where else? 15th chapter of Kathopanishad. Bhagavad Gita. Absolutely. So in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it begins like this. I told you that there is a lot of plagiarism happening with the Kathopanishad. And the first one to set this trend was Lord Vyasa, by lifting verbatim verses from the Kathopanishad and putting them in the Bhagavad Gita. We're changing a few things for the meter, because here, as you could see, we couldn't chant it in the meter because it has got extra, it's got extra tails of syllables. How does that one go? Urdhva moolam adhashakham ashwatham prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda sa vedavid adhaschordhvam prasrutastasya shakhaah gunapravriddha vishayaprabalaah adhascha moolanyanusantatani karmanubandhini manushya-loke na rupamasyeha tathopalabhyate nanto na chadirna cha sampratishta ashwathamenam suvirudha-moolam asanga-shastrena dridhena chitva. These 4-5 verses dedicated to the samsara tree. Yeah. And even Narahari talks about samsara tree in the Bodhasara. We saw that, although in slightly different terms. Viveka Chudamani has a description of the samsara tree, and the 15th chapter has a very elaborate description of the samsara tree, all just lifted from Kathopanishad. And in the Bhagavad Gita, also same, the exact same sentiment is expressed. What is the sentiment? The branches are all hanging low. Roots are up. Actually it should be the other way around. Roots should be down and the branches should be above. That is the regular tree. But the samsara tree has to have some kind of a, curve there. It's a life of upside down priorities, where I have been separated from the root. I can't even see it. It is not objectifiable because it is me, but I feel it to be far away. That's why the root is avyakta. Avyakta means what? Non-manifest. Because that which I call Brahman, myself, it has to be unmanifest. That alone is the truth. Because for everything that is manifest, the truth of the manifest is unmanifest. No, but how come that Brahman which I am is not manifest? Because if it was manifest, it would be another object. The subject, is the truth of all objects. And so therefore, it doesn't have a specific manifestation. It takes so many forms, endless number of forms, because it is simultaneously formless. That which is formless is unmanifest. You see, that's what it is. It transcends manifestation. And so therefore, here I am separated from the root because I have hugged the branches too tightly for my own security and for my own fears and tears. And so the root is upside down. It's a life of upside down priorities, where the real is that which is dual. That which is dual is real. That which is non-dual becomes unreal because I can't even imagine it. It's outside of the scope of my understanding. Until Vedanta Shastra comes. It is unmanifest, but not beyond comprehension. It's outside of the scope of my understanding as long as I'm hugging the branches. As long as I'm wedded to this duality, this oneness, the roots will not be seen or understood. So, Urdhva Moolam, Avakshakaha, and then the tree is a interesting name, Ashwathaha. Ashwathaha means what? Again we go back to the Sanskrit Vyutpatti. What is Vyutpatti? Derivation. Shvo bhavati nava iti shvo tishtati nava ashwathaha. Shvaha means tomorrow. You know, Ashwathaha means Ashwa, you negate that. No, whether it is available tomorrow in the same form or not, there is a big doubt. Therefore, it is called what? Ashwathaha. And this is the tree called ficus. No, ficus nyagrodha. Yeah. Religiosa is the peepal tree. This is the banyan tree because it has adventitious roots. The original tree dies, but it keeps giving birth to the branches become the roots. That's what you see. That's why it is called avakshakha, because the branches come down. And then it keeps populating itself, repopulating itself. The main trunk, there is some, like this in Bodh Gaya, there is one place where that Bodhi tree, under which the Buddha got, enlightened, supposedly. We don't know if it's the same one. They say it's the same one. It must be. But it got burnt in a fire. It had so many challenges. But it has so many adventitious roots that it's still continuing to live. That's what the whole thing is. So this Ashwathaha means what? It is samsara. Like the Ashwatha never dies, contradictorily and paradoxically speaking, samsara never dies. Samsara doesn't die. You have to step out of samsara. Samsara never dies. But what if everyone gets moksha? Everyone will not get moksha. Oh, why are you so partial? Because everyone is not studying Vedanta. But if one person studies Vedanta, isn't that enough for everyone to get moksha? No. Why? Why not? In that way, we should just reduce our expenses by just one person eating. And everybody feeling, Purna, Purnoham, I am full. And if that logic is faulty, then this logic should also be faulty. Because this is Dehatma, this body, mind, sense complex. This is, what is that, Deha avachinna chaitanya. This body, this Atma that is as though conditioned by the body-mind complex is the one that is identified with it. And that's where the problem is. And so you cannot say that somebody in some remote place, in the Swiss Alps, a Swiss wise man or woman went up and sat there and said, Tat Tvamasi, and gained this knowledge. So why can't we all do that? If everything is one, it's all, pocketbook Vedanta problems. This is why the teaching is necessary. So this, what is that? Swiss Swami got it. Swissananda, got it. But then how come it doesn't affect everyone? At least, okay, not the whole world, but at least everyone in Switzerland should get enlightened. It doesn't work that way. Because I have this independence, I have this identification which separates me from everything. And because of that separation, I can't eat for everyone and I can't get moksha for everyone either. That's why everybody has to do this. And so here in this tree, that's why the adventitious roots are so many jivas sinking into samsara repeatedly and multiplying like rabbits, not the individuals. The samsara, the problems in samsara keep multiplying like rabbits. There's just too much to handle. And this Ashwatha means the ever-changing, the momentary nature of all the things in the Jagat, finite. And that's the source of frustration, that's the cause of sorrow, because everything is finite. Avak Shakha means the branches are drooping very low. And the branches are within my reach. Drooping low means within my reach. And what is at the end of the branches? Flowers and fruits. And that's what keeps me, a samsara junkie, here. Because I'm addicted to the flowers and the fruits. How do we know? In the Kathopanishad, don't forget the two birds. What were they doing?
One was eating.
Yeah, one was eating. The other one was beating the first one up. No, the other one was watching. Yeah, so these hanging low branches are very tempting because they are heavy with fruit and flowers, which are the fruit of samsara. And what is the fruit of samsara? Papa and punya, really, on the individual level. A big headache on both the individual and the collective level. That's the fruit of samsara. But right now I become a punya hog and I want all the good karma. I keep wanting it. I keep picking the fruits. Like I become a squirrel, so to speak. And then the tree is also chosen here, Ashwatha, because the banyan tree, which is Ashwatha here, hosts a whole lot of wildlife. There are, of course, the regular ones like the squirrels, the tree, the birds, but also insects of various kinds. All kinds of small animals, foxes, go inside and sit in the hollows. All kinds of things are there. Snakes. Ashwatha tree is famous for snakes. They like its shade and they like also that the squirrels go there, free lunch. So, lot of it is its own ecosystem. And so therefore this tree has been chosen by the Upanishad. And both here and the Bhagavad Gita, it says Urdhvamulaha Avakshakha Ashwatha Prahuhu Sanatanaha. Sanatanaha means that contradiction of it being infinitely finite. Yeah. Or finitely infinite. Whichever way you look at it. It's finite but infinitely so. Everything, every single thing, every single day, every single place is constantly finite. And then, and wherever you look, everything is finite. And so this infinite conglomeration of finitude is called samsara vriksha. And then further, this Ashwatha, what does it do? But let's not dismiss this and talk bad about this at all. Why not? Because tadeva shukram tad brahma. Tadeva shukram. Shukram means shubhram. Two meanings. Shukram means shubhram. Shubhram means No, Shubham, that is Shubham. Shubham means pure. Yeah. Shubhram, one meaning pure. And if we take the word Shukram, we say it's the source. Two meanings are there. So you can either say Shubhram is Shukram, or if you say Shukra means, the source. Tadeva Shukram, Tad Brahma, that indeed is the source. And that indeed is Brahman. Tadeva Amritam Uchyate. That indeed is the one that is infinite and not subject to death. Tasmin loka chritas sarve. In this alone all the worlds are, as it were, taking refuge. In this alone all the worlds are taking refuge. Tadu na atyeti kaschana. Na atyeti means there is nothing that is not included in it, but it is not included in anything else. That's very important. Both those things have to be understood, together. Nothing is outside of it. And what does that imply? If nothing is outside of it, it's also not outside of anything else? No. It is outside of everything else, but nothing is outside of it. You cannot say, this samsara is here, its source is Brahman, but that one portion of samsara is outside of Brahman. Not possible. Not possible. If you can imagine saying that, then you can certainly you can't imagine saying that, just like you can't imagine saying that I had a full dream. I think 1/4 of it was outside of myself and 3/4 of it was within me. You can't do that. So too here, Tadeva Shukram, Tad Brahma, Tadeva Amritam Uchyate, and then Tasmil Lokaha. Because see, this is coming from the worldly standpoint. We are looking for lokas, fields of experiences. We are looking for various experiences. Lokas, as in even in one loka, you have ice cream loka, pizza loka, what is that? Mexican food loka, Thai food loka. All these things we have. Evergreen loka, right? Yeah. So like this, even in one loka, this is bhuloka, we have that. But then if we imagine that there are parallel universes, we have 7 kinds of comfortable situations and then universes and 7 uncomfortable universes. Want to list them? No. So, let's not. So then, this is what the whole... There will be a quiz afterwards. You still don't want to list them? Okay. There will be a quiz afterwards. So this is what the whole thing is. So in all these 14 lokas, all these 14 lokas draw their sustenance from which? That is what is called Brahman. Now Brahman also must be occasionally drawing its sustenance from one of the lokas, at least maybe Brahma loka. No! No, not possible. Just like there is no two-way relationship between dream and dreamer. Yeah. Dream draws its sustenance from you, but you don't say, I'm tired, can I depend on the dream? Yeah, not possible. Correct? And so, tasmin loka shrita sarve tad u means, however, that Brahman na atyeti kaschana. Nothing is outside of this Brahman. Nothing transcends this Brahman. But Brahman, the implication is Brahman transcends everything else. Now let's go to the other one. What is that? Viveka Chudamani. We quoted the Bhagavad Gita and we can quote the Viveka Chudamani too, and we'll just compare all these vrikshas, the description of the vrikshas alongside. What is that? Adi Shankara's Bhashyas in the description of the vriksha here, and then we'll see which one we like the best. Of course, all that cannot be accomplished in the next 10 minutes or so, whatever is left of class time, but that is the idea, okay? So the Viveka Chudamani has a wonderful verse, very musical also. Bijam samsriti bhumi jasya tu tamaha dehatma dhirankuraha ragav pallavamambu karmatu vapuhu skandhossavashakhikaah agranindriya samhatischa vishayaah pushpani dukkham phalam Nana karma phalodbhavam bahuvidham bhoktatra jivah khagah. Very nice, Yeah. Bijam samsriti bhumi jasya tutamaha. Now we have agreed that the samsara is a tree, correct? A never-ending tree, a constantly rejuvenating, recurring tree, correct? So, what is the tree cannot come without the seed, correct? So what is the seed of the samsara tree? Let us paint this whole picture. What is the seed? Ignorance. And ignorance here is called tamas because it's complete inertia. Correct? Complete non-knowing. So the seed of the samsara tree, bijam samsriti bhumi jaha. Bhumi jaha, bhumau jayate, is born of bhumi, born of the earth. Bhumi jasya tu tamaha bijam. Samsriti means samsara. So samsara vriksha's seed is what? The ignorance, self-ignorance. And then that seed has to sprout, right? So the seed could be under the ground permanently. What makes it sprout? Huh? Huh?
Whether we're talking about a tree or...
Dehatmadhihi ankuraha. Ankuraha means sprout. Dehatma buddhi. This wrong identification. Ignorance we cannot say because ignorance was the seed. How far are you going to use the same thing for everything? We have to come up with new things. That is what is the beauty of this. Did you find the verse?
I didn't find
it. I'll show it to you. So, Bijam samsriti bhumi jasya tutamaha. Dehatma dhihi ankuraha. So the wrong understanding that I am as good as the body, mind, sense complex, that is the sprout. That is the sprout. Because the sprout, the ignorance we have already reckoned, correct? Yeah, ignorance is the seed. So ignorance, how can the ignorance be the seed and the sprout? Tell me. It cannot. So therefore, ignorance is the seed and then what? What is the sprout? Wrong identification. I am as good as this body. I am as good as the mind. That is the sprout. Then the tree has leaves. What are the leaves? Now you can say ragadvesha. Yeah. Ragaha pallavaha. Pallavaha means what? Leaves. And then the tree cannot grow without water, correct? Yeah. What is the water? Action is the water. Action is the water. And then what happens when the action is the water? You can keep on extrapolating. So, dehatma dhihi ankuraha ragav pallavaha ambu karma vapuhu skandha. Skandha means the trunk of the tree is your own body. The body of the tree is your own body. And then asavaha shakhika. So there are more than one branches. Let us say there are 5 branches. Asu means what? Prana. So the 5 pranas are the 5 main branches. The arteries of the tree are the prana. So hang on, I'll find this. Here, 43 here. In this one, 43, because I don't know. Oh, that's the same one. 43. So, that is the thing. So, ragaha pallavaha, ambu karma, vapuhu skandaha, and asavaha shakhika. Shakhika means the smaller branchlets. Agrani. twigs. Indriya samhatihi. So all the sense organs and the organs of actions are the smaller twigs. And vishayaha, sense objects, are the flowers. The fruits are the cause of sorrow because they are the fruits of action. Yeah, they are always bitter, and a worm has got to it before you. That's why all these apples growing on the wayside, they all have holes. You say, oh, apple, you pick it, and it is all mealy, meal for the worm. Yeah, that's why it is mealy. And pushpani agrani agranihi indriya samhatischa vishayaha pushpani dukkham phalam. Because whatever effort is put and whatever result is come, they are not matching one another. They are not at all matching one another. Because the effort is too much and the result too little. Too late, too little. Always. So, pushpani dukkham, pushpani vishayaha dukkham phalam. Because the vishayaha means what? The sense objects mature into sorrow, into the fruits of sorrow. So you think it's a wonderful fragrant flower, but the flower matures into a fruit, and the fruit is a sorry, sad situation. Yeah. And then nana karma samudbhavam bahuvidham. What kind of, this tree, how has this tree been born? The tree is the cause, the tree is caused by so many karmas of so many people. And who are you? You are the bhokta. Who is this bhokta? The birdie in the tree. Yeah. The bird in the tree is called bhokta. First karta and then bhokta. First karta, it went and watered the tree, and then it harvested the fruits, which were of course terribly bitter, and then it went and sat in the tree nursing its tongue. Oh no, this is just bad news. I think I should go to another tree. The other tree was worse. Not only did it get bitter fruit, it got kicked out by the other birds who did not let it settle there. This is what happens, So, therefore, that is a very beautiful description there in the Viveka Chudamani, very evocative. And then, in the Bhagavad Gita, not only the description of the tree is given, but how to fell the tree is also given. Asanga shastrena dhridena chitva. So you have to have the scythe, the sickle of vairagya, which is, and the handle of the sickle is viveka. So that discriminative inquiry and vairagya, you can fell the tree. This big tree of samsara which resists all kinds of chainsaws, because the chainsaws are also product of samsara, needs a different treatment. And what is that treatment? It needs to be outwitted. It needs to be falsified. And the tree is eminently fallible because it is eminently fallible. And so that is why you can see, because what am I in search of? The infallible. And the infallible cannot be found in the samsara tree, because everything is full of roots, fruits, sorrow, worms, all kinds of things. And it's not perfect, but the source of it, from where it has come, is perfect. And then when I find the source, the tree gets falsified. The tree gets felled when the truth of the source is established as the truth of myself alone. Very beautiful. And in the Bhagavad Gita also we have the imagery. We can look at it a little more. Urdhva moolam adhashakham ashwatham prahuhu avyayam sanatanam avyayam, same thing. Chandamsi yasya parnani. There the Bhagavad Gita gives a little more, a nicer painting of the tree. It says that the parna means the leaves. The leaves are not ragadvesha. The leaves are actually the Vedas to help you come out of the samsara. Because on such leaves were the Vedas first written. So the leaves are just the Vedas which are helping you come out of the samsara, because Veda includes what? Vedanta. So the leaves are the leaves of the Vedanta book which helps you come out of samsara. Yeah. And then it says Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Sa Vedavit. The one who sees this as such is the one who knows the truth. And then Adhascha Ayam Prasritaha Asya Shakhaha Guna Prabhu. Yeah, it's full of gunas. Means the kind of a locked-in syndrome because of these three qualities. The three particular qualities of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas trap the person's mind and do not allow one to go beyond that time-space matrix. So the whole Maya functions because of the kind of a, what's that, paridhi, the limits set by the gunas. And that is what the whole thing is. And so this is what we have to totally understand. And guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha. So the gunas are making it grow, and the pollen is the sense objects there in the Bhagavad Gita. The pollen is the pravala means pollen. The pollen is the sense objects because they spread far and wide, and all the life forms like the bees and the butterflies go in search of this pollination, and the pollination makes the samsara grow more and more and more and more and more. Samsara keeps growing, keeps growing, keeps growing. And this is what the whole thing is. And then it says. Adhascha mulani anusantatani karmanubandhini manushyaluke. So the tree strengthens itself. How does the tree strengthen itself? By binding one through the karma and karma phala. This whole kind of karma phala, action, reaction, action, more action, bad reaction, bad fruits, bad this, and then again some more action, some more reaction, etc., 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 and it's endlessly reproducing. Ayyo, what to do? Get one asanga shastra. Get one sickle. Where shall I purchase the sickle? Lord Krishna gives the sickle. Yeah. Lord Krishna is the sickle dispenser. You just have to go and ask. I'll have one of those. Yeah, that's what you have to say. Instead of saying, I want bhukti. What is bhukti? It's the feminine form of bhoga. Yeah, bhoga, bhukti. Exactly. Just because it's a feminine and nice sounding form doesn't mean that it's any better. Yeah. So instead of going to Lord Krishna and saying, I want what? Bhukti. What should I say? I want bhukti. Yeah. So if bhukti comes from bhoga, does mukti come from mocha? Mukti comes from much, to free. So therefore, the Bhagavad Gita description is very beautiful because it not only gives the description of the samsara tree, but it says that you can just pick the leaves, that is Vedanta, correct? And then study of Vedanta and study of Bhagavad Gita gives the sickle. Bhagavan gives you the sickle. The Sharanagata Buddhi gives you the sickle with which to cut down this tree. That is what the whole thing is. And here we have a Prachanda description. I mean, this description, beats the other two very easily and completely. And this description, I hope to have. When will we see it? December. Yeah. Yeah, December we will see it. November we are having that, what is that? Something we are having. Atma Apahata Papma, Thanksgiving retreat. So we'll see it in December. Yeah. So that is what we will do. And then, it is exactly 7. How do these things happen? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Quiz time. Yeah. What are the 7 up lokas?
Boohoo. Boovaha.
Boo-hoo. Don't say boo-hoo. Don't cry now. Yeah.
Boovaha. Suvaha.
Huh? Suvaha. Huh?
Maha.
Then? Ah. There. Got you. Okay. Find out and tell me tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow I need to know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now the 7 down. Huh? Then why you said, when I said we'll repeat it, why did everybody say no?
Because you told us not to learn the 7 down, Swami.
Atala, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Dharatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. Yeah. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Yeah. Go home and write it 100 times. Any questions? Any questions? Welcome, Aishwarya. Oh. Aishwarya is from Seattle.
No.
Vancouver, yes, even further.
Long way.
From the deep northwest.